So I'm going to do another live, and this time again, I saw an ad on TikTok for a tuning frequency wand, fork, whatever you want to call it. And it was $9.99, and there's something about you get what you pay for. And when she hit it, it was supposed to be 528. It had a dissonance to my eardrums. So I'm doing this, and I promised you that whenever I saw something crazy or wrong, I would tell you and warn you, okay? Because I don't want you to get the wrong thing. So I'm going to turn you on. I make no money off this shit, okay? Just in case you think I'm getting commissions, I'm not. So the person that you want to get tuning forks from, who manufactures them of stainless steel in America, American stainless steel, manufactured in America, so on and so forth, is her name is Eileen McCusick, and her book, which you should buy if you're seriously about doing tuning forks, you should buy this book. I read it whenever you can, but buy the book. It's called Tuning the Human Biofield. Tuning the Human Biofield. And so you're going to be on TikTok, and you're going to be seeing people peddling shitty tuning forks, and they're not going to help you. Because the frequency I just heard was absolutely like nails on a scratch board. It's not supposed to be out of kilter. Okay, it's supposed to make you feel when you hear it, you should be blissing out, not like grimacing. And because many of you are new to these kinds of concepts, you may go against your better judgment and your understanding of what is right and wrong. In other words, when you go through the spiritual community and you're looking for tools and sounds, be a 3-year-old again, because you see 3-year-olds don't give a shit who tells them, well, this is the expert. 3-year-olds will tell you, this is a great painting, this is shit. This is good music, this is shit. This is good food, this is shit. Be a 3-year-old as you navigate through the world of buying frequency wands, gongs, drums, things of that nature. If it doesn't sound right to you, then it's probably not right for you. Not to mention it's probably wrong. It's probably manufactured and not in the right way. I have a Shruti box. You probably guys don't know what a Shruti is, but it's a harmonic. It's like an accordion, but it's a harmonium, something like that. I forgot exactly how to. But it's kind of like they also have drone flutes, right? A drone flute, and when the Shruti comes to you, usually it comes at the frequency of 440. And you have to request that it be dialed into 432. Like the instruments should be 432. Now, when Chopin, Bach, Beethoven, Strauss, all these guys were writing music, and when they were doing the, when they were performing the music, it was at 432 hertz. Can you imagine how blissed out people must have been when they were listening to this live, right? It must have been unbelievable. And the Rothschilds, I was, counting them for fucking everything up. And the dates are different. 1920s is one time, another one is 1939, but regardless, the Rothschilds got involved in our music and made it so that across the world, we went from 432 hertz to 440, which is shit. And you will go on YouTube today. Now in 2016, when I was listening to 432, 528, and so forth, in 2014, 2015. Okay, when that was happening, and a lot of us were like getting hip to the music and frequency of music, right, to that level. And I've been listening to Kitaro since the 80s, okay? And so was my twin. So we were all looking for music that was otherworldly, obviously. We were all, Starseeds were all hungry for that. But anyway, in 2016, you were fine. You didn't have to worry about YouTube with anything else but the right frequency for guided meditations and so forth. But guess what? And I'm horrified. But right now, you will go. You look it up. 440 hertz. Knowing what we know, knowing how damaging it is to the central nervous system, to the cellular system of the body, to healing you. Look it up. 440 hertz guided meditation. 440 hertz meditation music. I swear to God, you'll find a plethora of that bullshit. By design. By design. So when you do your research, like right now, TikTok is going to be slamming you with tuning forks. Yeah, fucking don't go there. Where you want to go, I'm going to give you the name. This is where I got all my tuning forks. This is what I used for the people that I loved, who I still love, who were journeying out of their bodies, right? So the website is Biofield Tuning Store. You can also look up Tuning the Human Biofield by Eileen McCusick. And you will get all this incredible information. And she is a master. The woman is in her knee deep in her 50s. And her jawline and her neck and her face and her skin is tight as a drum. Because she actually uses some of these frequency wands to help her body. I've used it for people I love. I haven't used it on myself. So it's time for me to do a lot of self-care, self-management. I've had these tuning forks since 2020 is when I first bought them. And I was pulling them out for people who I loved who were ill or dying. And it made a massive difference in their transitioning. So I have a lot of passion for high frequency music, mantras, chanting, sound, healing, massive passion, massive respect. The first time I heard tuning forks in action was I'll never forget, it was in 2008. And my son was working with this incredible healer, Dr. Nikki, in Altadena, California. And he was in I was waiting in the waiting room, there wasn't a lot of, and I heard this sound that came out of her room under the door, and I was blissed out. I went, oh my God, when he was finally done with the session, can you tell me what was that sound? And she had these amazing, massive tuning forks that had been gifted to her by an older healer who was retiring when she took over that space, that healing space. And they were made out of copper and brass, ancient tools. Like ancient tools like the Rife machine and shit like that. That was not shit. I shouldn't say shit like that. I should say gifted machines and systems of healing that could actually heal cancer. It's still argued. But why destroy something if it wasn't working? That's my question to you. Why destroy it if it wasn't? Well, because people would be out of a job. Millions and millions and millions of people who rely on, let's raise that pink flag and let's raise that money for that, a lot of them. And I know what I'm talking about. I've been in that industry for like a weekend, which doesn't say much about my massive knowledge on cancer, but just sitting with these people, researchers, and advocates and survivors, I can tell you that by now we should not even be talking about the big C anymore. It should be we should be done with that shit. We should all be healed from that. It should come and boom, we're done and done. There's too much money on the table. That's the problem. But anyway, aside from that, and again, I go on these tangents and you'll have to excuse me, but in the healing frequency of these tools, gongs, there's an incredible company called Paiste, Paiste, that does gongs based on planets, on frequency of heart chakra, root chakra, and so forth. And they are absolutely fucking phenomenal. They actually can elicit, if you are good at doing that, it could be ancient past lives where you sit in front of a gong and you start hitting it in the right way and the right resonance comes out of it. You can actually bring people to a DMT experience. I kid you not, they explode into a DMT experience. That's how powerful frequency sound is, and that's why the Rothschilds decided that 440 would be la rigueur for the populace and to control them in very subtle ways. Any questions or comments on that? I'd love to read your comments. Hang on for a quick second. Let me see what you guys have right here. Nothing? Okay, questions that have nothing to do with this. Okay, got it. Any questions on that? No? Okay. So Again, the book is called Tuning the Human Biofield. Look it up. I'm not making a dime. I'm not here to make money off this. It's just I'm letting you know. If you're going to, and I just saw TikTok promoting this tuning fork. I looked it up to look at the price, $9.99. My friends, you get what you pay for. Don't get hustled by TikTok. And when I listened to the sound of that, supposedly 528 hertz can actually heal DNA, okay? So when I heard it and I felt like nails on a scratchboard, I knew that this was a fuckery from the powers that be selling that shit. Because you've all heard about frequency wands, many of you have, and you would all run and throw your money down. The other thing that you have to be careful of, okay, let's be real, is quartz crystal bowls, supposedly quartz crystal bowls that are carved. They're not carved. I hope you realize that. It's sand. It's some quartz crystal mixed with sand in high heat, creating these bowls. Okay, these bowls, and they're called quartz crystal bowls, right? Sound healing bowls, right? And they'll come in 528, 999, 184, whatever, right? They'll come in different hertz, and I never bought a set. Like, I've had the money in the past to buy sets like that. I've never bought a set because I wanted to find a bowl carved out of quartz crystal, just carved for sound. So you're better off getting the bowls out of Nepal from the Nepalese, artisans who make these bowls. You can actually get antique bowls. My uncle, who had gone to Dharamsala in India to work with the Dalai Lama and all the children and getting them set for fixed. Come on, D. Tested for eyes, for eyeglasses, because he was an ophthalmologist at the time. But anyway, he bought a lot of bowls, and he bought antique bowls, and that would have been in the 80s. Actually 90s, early 90s. And so he decided to entertain me with his bowls, one of them being massive, like the size of half a table. And I was blown away. Blissed out beyond belief. So those brass, copper, whatever, the bowls are made out of, and sometimes it's a mixture, you're better off with that, because if it says 528, you can bet your sweet ass it's 528, and it's not going anywhere. Make sure it's made in Nepal. Make sure it's not coming out of, I'm going to be blunt, it's not coming out of China, because they are mass manufacturing, they don't give a shit. But Nepal, yeah, these are artisans, they're famous. Many of them are, they've been creating these sound bowls for generations. It's their family business for like 500-600 years or older. And they've been creating these bowls for a long, long time. They know what they're doing. And so you may want to consider doing that. And a good bowl that's a vintage is going to cost you between $300 to $1,000 and upwards. I mean, it is what it is. A good shruti is going to cost you $500. A good gong, a paste gong, is going to go into the 3,000 to 5,000. Yeah, I mean, and what's really cool for the spiritual community is our Birkin bag is a gong. To be honest, it's like, we won't lay down 10 grand for a Birkin, right? No way in the fuck ever. But we will lay down 10 grand for a gong. I mean, and it's not even something we're doing for a living. It just feeds our soul. And it does. It feeds our soul, our cells, our friends. It's an incredible. So many of us, start building our sound healing tools of the trade, if you will, for ourselves and for our families and for our friends, with like shaman drums that are very meaningful to us. And like I said, the shruti, the drone flute, for example, cymbals, my next big move isn't going to be a brand new car. It's not going to be a Birkin bag or a cruise ship trip. It's going to be a gong. My experiences with gongs are like phenomenal. I can't say enough about them. And you have to be patient with it, and you have to tap back into your past lives on this planet and other planets, and you have to like really become almost like a conduit to source as you work with some of these tools. In terms of the frequency wand, you hit it against what looks like a hockey puck, right? and it reverberates, and it can reverberate for minutes, minutes and minutes and minutes. It will not stop. And there's a process, and I'm actually considering taking this woman's class again. Human biofield tuning. I think it's called biofieldtuningstore.com, I believe, and the book again is called Human. What is it called again? Tuning the Human Biofield by Elaine. So check it out. I don't want you to get hustled by TikTok or Instagram's cheap frequency wands. I saw this ad come on my feed just minutes ago, and I thought I'd jump in and help you discern the right things to do for your own healing journey, which for many of you will include sound healing, and some of you might actually become sound healers professionally. That might be something that excites you and gets your juices going. And if you combine that, and I'm being told to say that, if you combine that with Reiki, it could be quite a phenomenal and powerful healing session for a client. So part of the thing I want to do, and I am a Reiki master, and I haven't done any Reiki, thanks to COVID, hello, lockdown, I haven't done any of that work for years now. But I'm definitely looking to do some classes with her on the particular tuning forks that I bought from her. And I don't have the whole collection because it wasn't cheap, because they're real and they're good. They're excellent. And you want to make sure you have a nice box to store them in so they don't get fucked up. And just like you would sage any of your tools, you definitely want to sage those tools as well. And what else can I tell you? And and I'm going to share something else. So I was getting an apple tree for the ceremony I'm doing for my twin, and I found black sage. Now the word black, right off the bat, you're like, oh no, it's dark. And so quickly my son and I looked it up, and it seems to, and it does, I know for a fact because I tried it, I bought some. It actually increases your ability to dream, lucid dreaming, very similar to what blue lotus flower does. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a drink with blue lotus flower in your tea, with chamomile, or smoked it. Some people smoke it. Again, you can look up ritual oil, and ritual oil, I think it's .co. They're out of Australia. The guy's name is Ari, Arrii, and they sell the ritual oil. It's moringa oil with blue lotus that's infused with blue lotus. The smell is amazing. My twin absolutely loved it. And they also sell the blue lotus. And the reason why I buy blue lotus only for him is because I know that what I'm getting is blue lotus, no bullshit. Whereas some of the people I can't really trust, it could be lotus flowers dyed in blue. I mean, you got to be careful. Though we are a spiritual community, and though we walk in our light, many people who are in the fringes of our community are taking advantage of us in multiple ways. One is selling us shit equipment like cheap frequency wands. Another is to sell crystal bowls that are mass manufactured, and there's really no resonance. It really isn't 528. The only bowl that made out of crystal that I would ever trust would be a hand carved solid piece of quartz crystal carved into a bowl, right? By an artisan who was also a musician, who understood how to make it so that it would have a 528 or 194 or 89 hertz or a 99 hertz or whatever, right? So really, discernment and heart chakra coherence is going to be your ally in this journey as you start picking up tools. And like I said, just be careful out there, because there are people who will convince you that they are the real deal. And if they are very involved in the way they look, how do I put that without sounding like a complete idiot? Let me try to figure it out. You'll find that when people are truly spiritually here to spiritually heal the planet, they're not concerned with looking like they're spiritual gurus. When you look at Louise Hay, who was the godmother, she was the queen, she was the originator of the self-help movement in the late 60s, early 70s. She was the deal, okay? When you look at her, when you look at Dr. Joe Dispenza, when you look at Deepak Chopra, when you look at these people who are for fucking real, they're not wearing turbans and, don't get me wrong, I love bindis, okay? But they're not wearing, henna and Buddha buns and crystals around their neck and overly hyping that they're spiritual people. Spiritual people who are really on the path actually don't give a fuck what they look like, to be honest. What they care about is what they're saying to you. So again, let's not get all, lulu la over people that, oh my God, look, they look like a twin ray couple. Why? Because they're speaking softly and they're wearing all white and they've got crystals up the ass. That's not power. They say dress the part to influence people for a reason. And so when you dress the part, right, to influence people, realize that you're being manipulated. That's not to say don't look nice when you're going to have a talk with a crowd of people. Of course, you want to look your best. But you'll find that the average beautiful person who has written books and done talks, like the Chopras of this world and the Dispenza, what's another? Oh, Singer. That's another great person who's done some amazing work with what he's written with the Untethered Soul and so forth. Michael Newton. When you look at all these guys, they could be working at Bank of America or working at a construction site, or they're not trying to hoodwink you with how they look. They're just trying to tell you what the truth is. They're just here to help the populace. They're here to help the collective. And so when you look at Twin Flame Universe, which sometimes they would play the game and then they would have the audacity to kind of like brag about all the shit they had bought. When you look at them, they were playing the Jesus born again Christian shit. And when you look at the Twin Rays in Ashland, Oregon, and they were playing that we're Twin Rays, blah, blah, blah. They were playing a massive game of how they looked and how they had set up everything in their environment to make it look very kumbaya. We're spiritual, we're powerful, we're this, we're that. They made massive efforts. If you look at Tony Robbins, who's a spiritual also, he's a spiritualist. When you look at how he dresses, how he set up the rooms when he's doing these talks and these massive woo brew, let's get going, that kind of thing, like lighting the fire under people's asses so they can move out of their trauma into success and power, into their own discovering of what they're capable to do. When you look at these setups, none of them are trying to look like gurus. You'll notice that. You should pay attention to that, because it's not what a person with a Buddha bun and and 60 malas on their wrist, right? And pierce, it's not that. Look at their eyes. Look at what they're saying. What are they saying? Is it real? Does it feel true to you? Does it feel authentic? Are they truly, genuinely trying to heal the collective? Are they trying to heal the collective to a new level of understanding, of self-care, self-love, and brotherhood and sisterhood? And I've mentioned people who, all these people I've just mentioned, that's what they've done, that's what they do. So you get what you pay for. Know that because there's a demand of these bowls, especially these vintage bowls, you may want to connect with somebody in Nepal. Make a friend with somebody who lives there, and see if you can connect with someone who might know an artisanal family who might have some ancient bowls they're willing to, vintage bowls they're willing to sell you, or make a custom bowl for you, and know that, this is made for you and it was done with integrity, with love for the craft and all that. I mean, it's worth the effort, you know what I mean? And in retrospect, as I'm saying this to you, I'm thinking of seeing if I can connect with someone in Nepal, because I think it'd be kind of cool if many of us who are part of the community that me and Andromeda have built and are still building, that we would have a connection with someone who we could trust, who would say, I found something very special. One of you in this group might want to buy it or whatever, things like that. Because there's also ancient malas. Malas are like 200-300 years old. And there's energy behind that, and it's good to kind of pass on rather than it being destroyed or lost, or not understood by other people who just throw it in the trash. It would be nice for us to become the caretakers of these items, you know what I mean? Until the next person inherits them or it's passed in our community for ages to come. I think it'd be smart. It'd be fantastic to do that. Anyway, like usual, I'm on a tangent. I'm just like talking out loud. But so I think I gave you all the information you need. Again, it's called let me give you the book again. I keep getting Tuning the Human Biofield by Eileen McCusick, and look up her website, biofieldtuningstore.com. Look that stuff up. Do what you got to do. If that's your thing, at least you know where to go now. And I will upload this live. I did a live earlier this morning. You can check it out. Thank you for loving the live, by the way. Thank you, Blu-ray. Go ahead and check out the live I uploaded this morning. And any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Oh, thank you, Andromeda, for blocking that person. Appreciate it. Any questions or comments? Any addition, anything that you want to share about sound frequency healing and the magic of that? Thank you. Thank you, Blu-ray. That's really sweet. Thank you. Any other questions or comments that you want to share? Okay. How do you guys feel? Anything at all that you want to share on how you're feeling in the energy of some of you? I don't know how you guys are doing with your twin and or your high level soulmate. Anything at all that you want to share? I'm waiting for a little bit. Hi, Becca. It's good to see you. Trying to look for. Let me see if I can give you a little gift. Hang on for a quick second. Let me see if I can. If I have the cards here, great. If not, well, I don't know what to say. Let me see if I can get you. Bear with me. I gotta look because I have. I'm going to find a good oracle deck that is going to give you. Yeah, here we go. I knew I'd left some downstairs. Okay, so we're going to do an oracle card. We're going to pull an oracle card. I figure that's my gift to you for today because I haven't done it for a while. And so I'm going to do that now. And what we want to do is give your angels, guides, and allies permission to guide you in this session because we're going to pull a card. Thank you, my love. Becca. Love, low energy today. Oh, yeah. Energy is, oh God. Yeah. The energy, be patient with the energy. Just, you might need to rest. I know I've been sleeping a lot. I've had to sleep. I've had to catch up on a year or two of not sleeping. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. I want you to close your eyes, get the message you need, and when you're ready, pick top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle, and majority gets the card. That's how we do it. Top, bottom, or middle. Middle. Okay, cool. Middle. I like singing to raise the vibes. Top, bottom, or middle, please. I've got one middle. Middle. Got it. That's what I'm doing. All right. Aloha. Ke Akua. Blessings of the Supreme Being. That's the first card. All right. Let me go ahead and read to you. This is again from Alana Fairchild. It is Earth Warriors Oracle deck. Let me go ahead and give you what it says. It's 25, which Andromeda, it's 25. Here we go again. And you know the history of Hawaii, right? You know what I'm talking about. So here comes the journey. 25 is 7, which is the journey. Aloha Ki Akua. All right, let's look at 25, and I'll read you the pages. Once I hit the pages, I need you to close your eyes and listen with your body, not just your ears, but your entire body. 25, by the way, it's page 129, which comes out to 12, okay? Just letting you know in case that's a meaningful number for you. All right. 25. Aloha ke akua. Blessing the supreme. Aloha ke akua. Hawaiian wisdoms recognizes that the divine is love. The supreme being from which all life emanates manifests a blessing for you. The realm of the heart is love's temple. When you enter the heart, you gain access to the Great One and to mana, the power, authority, grace, and magnetism to manifest your divine destiny. Trust in what is meant for you. Surrender doubt and disconnection in favor of love and respect for the Great One, and you shall live your true destiny with joy in your heart. Love can and will conquer all. Inner reading. A blessing is coming to you now. Things do not need to be complicated. When you are confusing yourself with too many variables, too much information, fear, and doubt, focus on filling your heart with love and let everything go. When you open your heart to divine guidance and let go with faith, Spirit will handle all matters in your life. Rather than making you passive, this will inspire you to take only the most helpful actions. This oracle indicates an answered prayer and that Spirit has you covered in a situation of concern. You are healing and deepening your relationship with the divine. Okay, so clearly, if you're having some lull and you're tired or whatever, something, you're being asked to rest and to wait, and you will be guided. Spiritual guidance. Your empowered and open heart is capable of receiving love, divine presence. This is a sacred gift that must be protected. Guard the temple of your heart against becoming clouded by fear or lack or forgiveness. The purity and strength of your heart flow from your loving relationship with the Supreme Being, whatever your image of that being may be. Allow yourself to trust in your divine relationship unconditionally, and your affairs will work out beautifully. Sometimes we sense a significant purpose for our lives, a task that could benefit the greatest good. Or there may be simply an issue that you know you need to confront so you can grow spiritually, but your mind is afraid to let go. In moments of doubt, concern, or more rarely when you feel capable of anything, remember the truth about the role of the Supreme Being in our hearts and in our lives. We need to do our parts to fulfill our destinies, and the Great One needs us to trust and allow for divine love to be our nourishment and for divine grace to be our empowerment. We cannot fulfill our divine destinies without mana. The divine has installed authority, grace, and power within us to help us cultivate and express through the guidance that we feel in our hearts. Every purpose given to you comes with the divine gift of the power to accomplish it. It is only through divine relationships that we can tap into these gifts and make the sacred purpose for our lives a reality in the world. You are one of the souls with a purpose and a heart big enough to be concerned about the spiritual vitality of the many. Spiritual purpose like this cannot be condensed into a job. It is a way of being. When you recognize that the divine is in all things, has power beyond what the intellect can understand. Did you hear that? Let's say it again. When you recognize that the divine is in all things, has power beyond what the intellect can understand, and is generous and empowering of the purpose of all souls, you will be ready to express and grow your mana, your holy power in the world. See, when you know that you are the divine being's conduit, you are its servant to awaken the masses. And the masses might be your state, your village, your city, your community, whatever. Or it could be worldwide, right? You don't know until you start doing something, until you start speaking the truth. Not your truth, the truth. And the truth is that there is a divine being that has divine unconditional love for every sentient light soul, multidimensional soul on this planet and other planets. That's the truth. And if you want, you can be part of that and become its messenger. There is a purpose to which you were born. Time and events shall converge to bring you to all that you need for the fulfillment of this purpose. You shall be protected from derailment as you deepen your heart connection to the Supreme Being, who is love. Cast aside anger, fear, disappointment, and judgment. If you feel hesitant to trust because of certain ideas of past experiences, talk to the Great One about those things. Ask to be shown how to find the peace and understanding that helps you become open to intimacy with the divine. If you have to break through some barriers of mind and heart to love the divine more fully, boldly, ask for help to do so. Can you imagine being Joan of Arc at 15, 16, well, however, I don't even know, but I know she was a kid. And she's getting direct download from the divine to free France from the grip of the English rule. Do you realize what that kind of like download would have taken for someone of that age? She was a teenage girl, and yet she went for it. The fact that karmically she was betrayed by the very king she saved, that's another story. We're not going to talk about that today. Let's talk about the fact that this was a teenage girl during the Dark Ages, marshaling the powers of weary warriors who followed her into battle. Yeah, think of that. So if she had the kahunas to go against everything that was expected of a slip of a girl, a teenage girl no less, talking about voices in her head, right? And she could do what she could do, you sure in the fuck can do what you're supposed to be doing. So you better start listening. You have to break through some barriers of mind and heart to love the divine more fully, boldly. Ask for help to do so. Acknowledge the divinity of the hand that works through yours. Do not lay false claim to the wonders that will flow, as they would simply scare your mind and close your heart, as it wonders how it could ever do it again. Instead, revel in the feelings of the safety, strength, and tenderness that fill your soul when you allow yourself to revere the great beloved. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So that was the card for you guys today, which I'm glad we did, because that was not only a message for me, but it was a message for you. So definitely a message for many of you. Any questions or comments? Love this comment. It takes less than 1% of a given population to raise the consciousness of a community. Bravo, Oscar. Thank you for sharing that. That is absolutely true. For us to claim the new world, the new earth, we only need 1%. And guess what? It's the 1% that controls us. So that theory of number is correct, because it's the 1% putting their boot on our neck, and all we need is 1% to change that story. The meek, I keep bringing that up again. The meek shall inherit the earth. What does the word meek mean? Because it really used to trigger the shit like meek, what the fuck? But meek means I want peace. I just want to love my neighbor. I just want to plant my crop and raise chickens and raise my kids and have you out of my, my personals. I want you to leave me the fuck alone so I can live. I want you to be kind to our population. I want my government to help me when I'm down, not shame me and put me in jail because I'm homeless. The 1%, Oscar, the 1%. Thank you, Becca. Thank you so much. So any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Because I'm so grateful that you brought that up. I love that you brought that up. The 1% of a given population to raise the consciousness of a community. That's it. That's it. So you need to bang the drums. You need to make yourself available. You need to talk about death and spirituality and new concepts. When my mother was dying, I was talking to hospice nurses about concepts, philosophies of death, reincarnation, things of that nature. They never had conversations like that about. And same with my twin. When he was passing, when we were going through hospice care, and I was talking to the nurse. In fact, the masseuse was so amazing. She sent me a condolence card, and she actually is looking to stop by to give us a hug. She felt that connected, that welcome, and she realized that we were very grateful for what she was doing for my twin. And she also got, you got to give people nectar of philosophy, nectar of wisdoms, nectar of things you've learned over the years. And so it wasn't unusual for us to, after they took care of my twin, that we would sit for like 20, 30 minutes talking about what their questions were about spirituality, or what they were You can kind of tell. So you can plant seeds everywhere. There's always an opportunity for you to plant seeds. And you have to be like a Johnny Appleseed. And some seeds will plant and they will thrive and some won't. And that's not your concern. Don't concern yourself with what doesn't grow. Concern yourself with, oh, look, there's an apple tree coming up. Oh, okay, let me keep going. Let me keep going. And that is really our goal, is not to question quote unquote failures of those seeds not being planted, not taking root. That's not our concern. Our concern is, here we go. Here's like 10 apples, trees that are growing, and they're going to bear fruit soon enough. And that's our job. That's our only job, is to raise the consciousness of our communities, of the country we live in, of the world, of the planet, so that we can eradicate the polarity of war and famine and bring in our consciousness back into 5D, which is where we were with before, right on the heels of Atlantis falling. Okay, so we can actually learn from our mistakes with Atlantis, with Lemuria, with other planets, because there was a lot of Geno going on in other planets. Some starseeds are still dealing with the trauma of losing their entire people to a Geno. You know, it did happen. Don't think because you're a starseed that, all starseeds are good. Some starseeds, it's just the consciousness of good and bad is always part, that's a polarity. But the polarity of war and famine, which I was very happy to hear. There was a great interview. I'm going to share that with you before I sign off, with Regina Meredith and Lee Harris, who's an amazing channeler. He channels the 3Zs. And he talked about how war was brought to planet Earth. It's a cancer that was brought to this planet. We didn't create it. It was brought to us by other forces. And we can actually dismantle that vibration and no longer be a frequency match to that shit, and we can end it. And it's not woohoo in, kumbaya, cotton candy unicorn bullshit. It's real. And when he said that, it confirmed what I was picking up as well. So when you have psychics and channelers getting the same downloaded message, I got it too. I was like, yeah, war's not supposed to be here anymore. That shit's supposed to, famine's not supposed to be here anymore. And when I heard Lee Harris, who's world famous, okay, say exactly what I was downloading a year ago, and I'm sure he was downloading it a year ago or 2 years ago also, but not in a hopeful way, like yeah, this shit's over now. Like when I heard him confirm, I was like, yeah, we're on it. We're on it. So it's just a matter of not letting fear and old habits, ritualistic habits. You know how the body has memories? This is why the body will dial a phone number. You can't remember the phone number until you dial it and suddenly you know the phone number. Yeah, somatic memory. We have somatic memories of living these lives of lack, fear for centuries. And so we need to cellularly heal ourselves, and sound frequency is going to be one of your allies. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate that. It's very kind. I love going on TikTok panels when the light gathers, the path forward becomes clear. Beautiful. Thank you. Yep. All right. Any questions or comments? It was lovely to talk to you. I hope this sound frequency tutorial guidance helps a little bit. I will go ahead and upload this to my YouTube channel. It's on my TikTok. It's on my profile page on my Linktree. Just check it out. And I want to thank you all. All right. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.